Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba, the Talk Kizomba show for the community. This is a show for the dancers, teachers, DJs, promoters, and organizers to share, discuss, debate, and of course, talk about current topics. Our show aims to raise awareness amongst the dance community and all the hot topics on the dance floor. No topic is too taboo. We will talk about all subjects with no exception. You are encouraged to submit your questions to join in on the conversation. Guys, it's your dance, your opinion, your show. Welcome back after a few months break. We're glad to be back with a really, really interesting subject. Yes, it's would you pay to social dance with a teacher? Now, we have our panel back and including at least 4 on the panel. They are teachers. So this promises to be a good show. And we're going to introduce them one by one. Firstly, one of our hosts, Andrea Fitzpatrick. Andrea, welcome back. Can you just introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers? Tell them about all your skills within the Kizomba scene.
All my skills, Gary. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. So I've been dancing since 2010, probably before that. Started off with salsa, moved on to Kizomba when I founded at El Grande many years ago when it was at the Coliseum, if people remember that. I've been a teacher. I've run events. I used to run a big event down in Portsmouth at the Drift Bar. And then I found London. And that's been my dance home for many, many years. Various different events. I think, clubs come and go. My passion is Kizomba and Semba. My heritage is way back is Angolan. So that is my love, my passion. Thanks, Gary-O.
Thank you, Andrea. That's the lovely Andrea from Portsmouth, a Kizomba teacher down in the southern regions. Our other host for tonight is none other than Super Dixon. Welcome back, Super Dixon. Tell everyone what you're about.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Boa noite. Welcome to the madness of Let's Talk Kizomba. It's good to be back. My name is Super Dixon. For those who don't know, I'm a international UK artist. I'm a full-time and I'm a jack of all trades. I DJ. I'm a dance teacher. I promote. I'm MC. I do everything Kizomba. Most of all, I'm an entertainer, but a Kizomba educator. So I teach Kizomba Palop culture. So all the spectrum of the Palop environment that I've been suggested for pretty much all my life. Maybe I think I can go back to 7 years when I kind of recollect more the environment. This would be like 35 years till now, but I would like to count 25 active dancing and 15 active teaching and all this malarkey since I came to the UK and I started this journey. So I'm happy to lend my expertise from a cultural Palop perspective. And obviously all these experiences was in Portugal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Super Dixon. Thank you very much. And we've got one of our lovely panelists who's actually in Portugal right now. She's going to be on her way back shortly. Take it away, Anna.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So my name is Anna. I'm not a teacher. I just love to dance. I dance since my 20s, so 20 many years ago. And my background is from Portugal, so I just go to the dance floor and follow. I learn how to follow people, so in any kind of style of dance. So my passion is Kizomba, Semba, Funana, so all the African culture and dances. And recently, so last year, I embraced the challenge of organizing some events locally where I live in UK. And it's a challenge I'm doing for fun and not for business. But yeah, I'm living in UK for 11 years, and my background is from Portugal, is from Palop culture, and I did adjust myself and I'm enjoying. But I spend too much time in London, so um, I do like to dance. For me, teaching will be a nightmare because I lose all the fun when I need to think about what I need to teach, when I need to do. So I just let it go and follow and mirror whoever is leading me. And for me, that's all the fun. But yeah, that's me, a Kizomba lover.
Okay, and that's a lovely Anna, who's in Portugal at the moment, due to fly back shortly. Safe journey, Anna. But thanks for joining us again. We have two more of our regular panelists. Next, we're going to go to the Silver Fox. Winston, welcome back, sir.
Welcome back. Hello, everybody. I'm Winston Fox. Similar to Andrea, well, actually, going back before that, my background is reggae and soul. I used to play sound system. I used to DJ reggae music. I started in 2012 in Kizomba via the salsa route. And I've been actively dancing, attending classes since that time, 2012. So 14 years in this year, 14 years in February. I started teaching last year, February. So I'm a relatively new teacher. Still learning my trade and going through the experiences of that. But yes, everything to do with Kizomba, I'm involved in. Kizomba Semba is my preference. And also I travel a lot, as people may already know, to a lot of festivals and do classes when I travel as well. So yeah, so I'm all encompassed in Kizomba scene.
Thank you very much, Winston. I think you guys are going to be very useful, dancing, DJing, teaching. And our special guest tonight, a long-standing teacher within the Kizomba community. Even I can say I've been to some of her lessons many years ago. Rashida Forbes Costa. Welcome back, Rashida. Happy New Year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gario. Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, so I am Rashida. Now Costa, Forbes Costa. I have been dancing. If you ask my mom, I've been dancing since the womb, so she said I used to move around enough. My dad was a DJ, similar to Winston. He was a sound man. So I've been dancing since, I don't know, I could move. I think I found Kizomba. You guys are amazed me with all the years. I don't know. I found the Kizomba too long ago to even count. I've been teaching for over double digits. And yeah, love Kizomba, Semba, love palop culture, but love dance in general. You would find me skanking, you would find me funanaing, you find me comparing, you find me everything doing. Anytime that there is a beat and there's a drum, Rashida is moving. Most of you would know I'm a regular teacher at Chocolate Tuesdays and Unity Fridays. I think I hope to see you where I'm at some point.
Thank you very much, Rashida. So a little bit of background on me. I can just say I'm just a regular guy on the dance floor, looking up to all you esteemed teachers. I have DJed in the past, but I'm not a DJ now. And I'm not going to say I'm a DJ, but I have DJed in the past. Jungle, hardcore, even Kizomba back in 2015 at the old Irish Centre, Bar Latina. So that's a little bit about me. Obviously into the promotional world in Kizomba and, of course, TV stations, radios, news, and, of course, this lovely podcast show that we're bringing you. So that's me. A little bit of housekeeping rules. We're here to enjoy it. We can be controversial. That's what the show's about. But please, please, please try to limit the personal attacks, especially to your lovely panelists. Please, please, please. Of course, we don't mind taking a bit of stick, but let's not get personal. And that's for your fellow listeners and viewers. Please, please, please try to be kind. And obviously, we want your questions. So please submit your questions. We've got some really good panelists that really want to tuck into your questions. So please put it out there. We've already got Emma showing her face. Emma, thank you very much for joining us. spread the word, get it out there. It's going to be a tough show. We're going to really need everyone here. And who's that? Clarissa. Good evening, Clarissa. Yeah. So, guys, we're ready to tuck in now. I hope everyone is ready. So tonight's topic is: would you pay to social dance with a teacher? Now, it so happens, as I said, we've got 4 teachers on the show, so they're very well qualified in answering. Although it's a new topic, it's a new theme. Where has anyone really even suggested this before? I don't know, but it's a pretty new topic. So we got these guys, although they're experienced teachers, some of them, it's going to be a bit hard to actually come up with some answers because it's a new topic. So guys, I'm going to start. We quickly go around. Just tell me what's your understanding on paying to dance socially with a teacher. So I don't want too much. What's your understanding? I mean, you know, it's obvious you pay to dance in a social setting, but what's your kind of understanding about that? We'll start with Anna. Anna, I mean, you know, we're going to be paying to social dance. What do you understand about that? Do you think it's a good idea?
I do believe that would be people paying for social dancing with teachers because they feel extremely confident. They feel that they are dancing well. They feel that the teacher would adjust and adapt to all the moves. So I think will boost definitely the confidence of people that are starting on the dance floor. I would see it like some events have like taxi dancers. I would see it if there was a ticket for a guest to pay extra money to have extra dances with teachers. I believe that people would pay. I wouldn't personally pay it because I don't feel that for me the challenge as a dance as a person who loves to dance is to find out and to follow different styles, different people, people who improvise, people who actually are still learning. For me, is I like to mirror, I like to follow. But I do believe for beginners, there was actually people who actually probably pay a little extra money for it. I don't see it as a private lessons because I think this is possible and people can have it everywhere. They can have private classes outside of the events, outside of the parties. I would see it as a different ticket where you pay extra money to dance more with teachers. I'm not sure how organizers would do it on the dance floor. I don't know, like XYZ number of dances. I don't know, but maybe as an idea. I think the taxi dancers work really well, especially for shy people who don't like to invite people to dance or have afraid to have a no as an answer. So I think would may work. I don't see teachers earning like good money from it, but I think it's an idea. It's an idea. Why not?
Thank you, Anna. That's it. That's good. So something I'll pick up from what Anna said. How are the organisers going to deal with this? I mean, it's something we're going to come to. Pricing, timing, guys. What else? How much you're going to pay? What type of music you're going to dance to? What kind of style? Are you going to demand a Tarashina with, let's say, Rashida Forbes Costa? How's it going to work, guys? We'll go on to Andrea. Andrea, what's your feeling? What do we mean by paying to dance socially with a teacher?
I don't know how it would work because how would it be monitored? I personally would never charge anybody to dance with me, and I would never pay anybody for a dance. Just reminds me of tango in Buenos Aires. So I personally wouldn't do it. But you don't know what the DJ is going to be playing. You don't know when. I'm about being spontaneous, and I hear a song, I want to get up and dance. I don't know how it would work, and that there may be a particular person that I want to dance that particular song with. What if someone's booked me, and this is something I know a lot of people think, please don't ruin this song for me, because if you have a bad dance with somebody, they can ruin that song for you for eternity. So how do you choose which song you want to dance with which teacher with? I'm more about, I hear the DJ playing music and I think I want to dance with somebody, and whoever is free. And what if that person can't dance, that teacher can't dance Semba well, or can't dance that particular genre of music? Well, what Funanal comes on and I want to dance that with somebody, if I've booked only specifically to dance a particular bit of music with a teacher, how would you work it? You don't know what the DJ is going to play. You're going to get a playlist from the DJ. There's so many questions and so many, how would it be monitored? And does somebody come up and tap you on the back and say, right, you've had your 3 dances or your 2 dances, that's it?
Andrea,
Emma,
thank you very much.
you don't owe me any money, Emma.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So again, it goes back to what Anna said. She's opened up a can of worms here. How is the organizer going to organize this? Because if you want to dance and you've booked for Tarashinia and the DJ isn't playing it, if it's Evandro Bravo, he's not going to play Tarashinia. So how is this going to work? How is it going to work, guys? This is a question for later. Next, Mr. Dixon, please enlighten us on your view on what does it kind of mean to pay to dance socially with a teacher?
Good evening, everybody. So the reason why we're talking about this is because it became some organizer decided to create this, let's say, money machine to charge customers to social dance with the guest artists, right? Obviously, before I even say anything, everybody here will agree that from the cultural standpoint of any dance that stems from Afro-Latin cultures, this is unthinkable. This is ethically wrong, right? Doesn't make no sense to any of us. Do you know what I mean? Imagine if Rashida or Winston have a reggae artist that they love, that they're a good dancer. They still would not pay them to dance with them. They probably would groove with them, but pay them to dance? That's insane. It doesn't make no sense. But when it comes to the business, that's the part that it gets iffy. That's the part that it's literally out of our hands because we don't have any control out of any other of our own cultures. So usually these situations is obviously someone entitled that is not from the culture, but profits from the culture, that is coming here to dictate new business rules. And we from the culture, what we're gonna do? Is this how you work it now? Shit, I want to make money. But it's what I said is like I don't agree with the concept of it because it's ethically and culturally wrong. But business wise, it's a blank canvas really. And I can say more about it because I did my research about it. So if you want me to dissect more about how they actually are going to make that work, if you want to know later, Gary, ask me and I'll give you the answer. For now, this is my point. Let's stay here. Dario?
Super Dixon, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Perfect response to my question. Thank you very much. Guys, I just want to say a few hellos. Clarissa, hello. We've got Liv Nichols, one of our panelists, who will be joining us on a show soon. Good evening, Liv. Hope you're well. And Emma Guest, we know Emma. Emma, nice to see you on the show. Fabio Karimu has come up with something in the chat. I'll just read that quickly. I don't agree with mentioning any DJ's name. Each DJ have their identity. Yes. Well, I've taken the limit there because I know what he prefers and what he gives us, and it's brilliant. So it's a good example of making someone do something that's against what they like to do or want to do. So this is actually a good point, Fabio, because going back on what I said, you're now going to ask the organizer, back to what Anna said as well, how are they going to do this? How are they going to enforce this? Am I going to tell a DJ, whoever it is, you've got to do this at this time? I don't know. This is the questions, and we got to find the answers. Okay, guys. Last but not least, Mr. Fox, what's your view? What's your understanding on paying to dance socially with a teacher?
Well, I remember seeing a post on social media some time ago. Somebody raised the question. I pinned a link to the promoter who had sort of this idea. And what that person is trying to sell was the experience of dancing with a sort of qualified teacher. That's what they were selling, is the experience. Now, for me, I don't agree with that entirely. To me, it's just prostituting the scene. That's as far as I see it. Because I just think that you're just going against the grain of what Kizomba is meant to be about. Yeah? We're meant to party. We're meant to party with everybody. So for me, we would go into more details later on. But for me, they're selling a system of you're booking something online, a particular teacher to dance at a certain time for a certain time. Yeah? And you get your allocated slot. To me, I think it's completely wrong. You have a social time to dance. You have classes to dance. You have the parties. I'm talking about in particular festivals. So for me, people already queue up for teachers anyway. That was happening. So you could line up to get a dance. Why would you now think you need to pay? I just think it's just, for me, it's desperation. And it would, for me, people that are not getting dances feel this is their way around getting them dances. So if that is the issue, people are not dancing enough, then we need to look at what we can do, enable people to get dances, to get more dances and get people to circulate. Because as we know, people have this sort of, some people have a rule, 3 dances in one, some people don't. But sometimes at festivals, you can see where people would stay with somebody for a long time, particularly when there's a lot of women, and then they're getting excluded. And this potentially is where they're trying to come up with this method of getting people dance, but also monitorizing the whole process. And for me, I don't like the idea. I hate it. And whoever came up with that should be slapped, because I just think it's wrong. It goes against the Kizomba scene entirely. That's my view.
Winston, I think, again, guys, I'm very impressed with the responses, because all it's doing is opening more and more cans of worms. So, Winston, you've raised some good points. And actually, does anyone remember who actually originally posted this? Because it'd be great to get them on, to get an understanding of where the idea came from, what's made them put it out there. Yes, Winston, go ahead.
The post that I saw originally was our great Eddie Vance. And he had posted, he was the one that I saw talking about this subject, and then it ballooned up from there. But I know Eddie Vance had first raised this, from what I can remember, and it was on his chat that I saw this post.
Okay, that's great. So, guys, again, it's really interesting. We've got some lovely responses I need to read out. But firstly, I want to say, very impressed with the original question. It's opened a can of worms, and all of a sudden, it's like we're not going to be talking about the teachers because the organizer of these events is going to have to do a lot of work, because how is it going to be implemented? Who are they going to pay? Obviously, they pay the organizer. The organizer creates a list. He decides on some timings. He then needs to tell the DJs, at this time, you've got to play this. He's got to tell Winston, you can't dance with that girl at that time because she's going to be booked. You know, how far is this going to go? And actually, this subject I can see being show 1, 2, and 3 because many cans have been opened. Winston, back to you.
No, what I saw and how they were promoting it, each teacher was going to be allocated an online booking system, and people were then booking directly with the teacher and book a slot. That's how it was meant to work. It's done remote, done online. You choose your teacher, you choose your booking slot, you're allocated that time, and then obviously you find them on the dance floor that time of your dance.
Wow.
So it's actively being promoted remotely online. It was all properly organized. Yeah. But I think the guys that were doing it, if I remember rightly, they were either Urban or Fusion promoter that it was coming from.
Yeah.
And it was from that element. But it was organized where you could have your booking with your teacher, you had the time slot, and you paid your money directly to them.
Okay, and I've messaged one of our organisers in the UK. I won't mention names yet. I've sent him the link to come onto the show. I'm really hoping he does come on and say a few things, because I know that I believe he shared the question and, you know, put it out there to his family, let's say, Kizomba family. So I hope he joins and throws a few questions. I'd like to go to some of the comments while they're still relevant. Liv, one of our panelists, she has said, I don't like the idea. When I organise events, I make a point of dancing as a lead or a follower with as many guests as I can. And she's saying, not saying I'm a pro or anything. So, you know, again, echoing what some of you said, it's a social thing and you're dancing. You know, you're not really looking for fees. Our friend Emma Guest, she's saying, I agree with Mr. Fox. This is a new thing they are trying to introduce and it won't last long. It's a terrible shame. Emma, they said urban wouldn't last long. And look, 10 years later, it's here. So we need to be careful here, because believe you me, there are women that want to dance with male teachers. Okay? So at the end of the day, we need to be careful.
I'm always up with the lark, and it never hurts to steal a march on the day. Ben used to be the same before he got lazy. We were playing up.
Sorry, gremlins. So, guys, Clarissa. What about if someone wanted to pay a teacher to social dance as a private lesson, i.e. to vibe, dance together rather than being taught new skills in a social? Feels very wrong to pay for a dance. Now, I'm trying to get what Clarissa's trying to say here. I think she's trying to say, you know, let's hang out. You know, I'll pay you to hang out, which sounds very wrong to me. I'm going to come to Super Dixon because maybe Super Dixon knows Clarissa. Super. I think she's trying to say, let's vibe, let's hang out. I'll pay you to stand at the bar with me. Is that what she's saying?
No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, one of the things that, again, like I said, I could have said it earlier. I can say it now. The concept that they're trying to, so basically, obviously, when this first came about, you know, obviously, I know exactly who is the organizer. I know exactly what's going on. Doesn't matter the names. But obviously, at first, we kick off and then we go and do the research. You know what I mean? I obviously spoke about this on my podcast in Afro-Latin radio already, but I'm going to just give you a little short of this. So basically what they're going to do, it's not during the main social. What they intend to do is during the evening, you know, whoever paid for the social or whatever dances or whatever joins in, music will be played. It wasn't specified if the DJ is going to be playing music, what he's going to play. That's not in the chart yet. They didn't even dissected that part yet. So the DJ doesn't have a clue or whatever. Depends in an urban room these days. Is urban. Everything they think deem is urban is urban. Kizomba, whatever deem is Kizomba. Well, if they both play ghetto zouk, whatever. And yeah, anyway, what I'm trying to say is they are allocating in the evening for the teachers that obviously are allocated to be there during the afternoon. So the teachers go during the afternoon, do this paid class, and then at night they dance regularly with the regular customer like they do usually. So that's the controversial side. That's the part where they amonizing it or they're trying to introduce the idea. But we all know that they introduce an idea and then it goes like in St. Portugal. We give you the little hand and they're going to give you grab the whole arm. You know what I mean? But that's how they're trying to sell the whole malarkey. So in that note, I'm like, if the teachers are still available at night for the regular customer, is that an issue? You tell me, the people watching, what do you think? And by the way, it's very important. You see me on my phone. I'm sharing the show. So please share the links. Tell everybody the show is live. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay, but back to the topic. This is an important part. I want to ask the panelists and what you guys think about this, if it's done in this setup. So he's not interfering with the social dance at night. It's just a specific set for people that want to pay for it to do so. In that manner, I was like, still shady. But again, I would charge for private lessons during the festival. If anyone asks, as long as I'm available and I want to do it, I would charge for private lessons. Mainly 1 hour, not much more than that, but I would charge. And I would charge in a festival. I would charge pretty much a lot because I usually in a festival my free time is my free time. So if I want to chill and stuff like that, it's for me to do what I want, let's say. But when it comes to social, again, I don't agree because I think this is taking I don't know. This is like milking the cultural appropriation as much as they can. But most of this comes from Kizomba Fusion, from Urban Kiz. So this is almost like outside of our jurisdiction, except they probably called it the event Kizomba Festival of whatever. So that's when it's still our jurisdiction. But I don't know. According to what I said, I want to know what the people think about this. If it's in the evening, it's still okay? Not okay. In the afternoon. I want to hear what you guys think. People in the comments, drop the comments. I want to hear if you agree, disagree. Let's go.
Super Dixon, I think you've taken this somewhere else because my understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, we go to an event. We're not even talking about a festival yet. We're going to an event. We do the classes. My understanding is after the classes, someone that's gone to the class has paid £10. They then say, you know what, I really want to dance with a teacher. So this is I don't really see where you were going with that at different timings. Maybe you can explain in a short while. Maybe the others understood, but my understanding is you go to a class 8 till 9. After 9, the social starts. A teacher has a list of clients arranged by themselves, not with the organizer. So we're understanding now, Mr. Fox alluded to. Where you went, I'm not quite sure what you were saying. Andrea, can you enlighten us maybe a little bit on what Super was saying there?
I can't speak for Dixon. He knows what his intentions were. My understanding is a bit like you, Gary. So you go to a festival, you have your workshops during the day, and then you book the teacher for the evening social. My only concern about that is, again, you don't know the DJ. The DJ will be playing the room. hopefully, play into the crowd, and he might change up the music. Now, if I've booked how am I going to know when I want to book the teacher, because I don't know what time they're going to play the music that I like, and I could be really unlucky to go to an event where the DJ is not that good, and I don't like any of the music, and I don't really want to dance with anybody, and I've paid my whatever it is to the dance teacher, and I'm thinking, well, that was a waste of my money because I don't like any of this music. I don't see how it could work. Personally, I mean, that's me personally, because to me it's such an alien concept. I understand totally paying for a private lesson. Absolutely, that's been going on for years. You book a private after the workshop because you want to work on stuff. But no, during the cycle, people are asking, how do teachers feel about charging? I couldn't tell you that, because I would never charge anybody. If you want me to come give you a lesson, absolutely, I would charge you, usually just to cover the petrol of me getting to you. But I wouldn't charge you for a social dance. That's not the culture. It's meant to be. It's meant to be free. It's meant to be spontaneous. It's meant to be fun. And I'm not keen on that, to the charging thing. But Dixon he can explain what he means. I don't go to festivals for that very reason, that I don't like them. I don't like how they've become monetarized so much, and it's all about, and this is something we haven't touched on yet, it's about being seen with the right people, with the right, and if that's your bag, if that's what you want to do, if you want to have your photos taken with every DJ and every teacher in the world, absolutely, that's up to you. I prefer the personal touch, the interaction with people. I've known Rashida goodness knows how long, going back way back to Nomad days and places like that. And hopefully I count her as my friend, especially she was one of my original teachers at Nomads. I remember her saying, move faster, Andrew, move faster, Andrew. And that's how you get to know people, not by not by paying for them to dance. I still remember we were doing Corradini, and you have to move faster, Andrea. So take bigger steps. So that's how you get to know people. That's how you get to build the culture. That's the socializing side of it. I just feel that would get lost if it was everything was about the money. Everything now is about money, and I get it. People have got to pay for venues. People have got to cover their costs. The DJ, the teachers, the bar, that sort of thing. But I just think it's a shame. But you'd have
Andrea,
to ask Dixon. Gary,
sorry, I just want to hark back. Am I reading this script wrong? I don't think it's just about festivals, or am I wrong? Is it about just a social, even on an evening event? We go to an event, we pay £10 for lessons, which includes social. After the lessons, between 9 and 10, you're booked in to dance with a teacher. You've paid your £15 and you're going to get 5 dances. Is that right? Or, I mean, I know Dixon kind of moved away. I got the feeling it was slightly something different. And I don't know where we're getting this content from, in the sense of, was it from someone on Facebook, that person, or another person? But I just understood it as social in general.
Can I just make a comment? The one that I saw was relating to festivals,
right?
Not to normal nights.
Right. Okay.
I think
that's where the controversy comes from. It's from festivals. Right. It's not from local events.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we talking about an afternoon social? I think this is what Dixon was getting at. an afternoon social or an evening one?
Well, to be honest with you, in my view, I don't really remember it's the social in the afternoon or the party in the night. The same principle applies. You're commercializing something that should be a free dance of enjoyment and people socializing. Because in my book, you got a teacher that's been paid to attend an event, and in the past, what you see people lining up for that person to students lining up for that person to dance with later on. The attendees who have paid for a ticket to come to that event, and then you've got classes that you're going to interact with people. You got the daytime social, and then you got the nighttime party. That there's ample amount of time to dance with so many people. Why would you then look to commercialize, dance with a particular person? I just can't understand the mentality of someone would do that. And for me, it may be because they're not getting dances in general, and that's why they're willing to pay. So if that is the case, if that is the problem, then we need to look at what we could do to that issue of women attending and not getting enough dance, feeling that there's a need that I need to pay a teacher money to get some allocated time with him or her. Don't just for males, it's for female teachers as well. It's not just talking about women dance with men, it's everybody. It's both ways it's going to happen. But to me, it's wrong. I just think it's just wrong. I don't agree with it at all.
Thank you, Winston. On the flip side of that, it's not only possibly someone not getting a dance, it's someone wanting to dance with a teacher. We've seen situations where a guy's asked a woman and she's kind of looked at him and said no. And she seems to be hanging around with all, almost groupie-like. I want to dance with that teacher, and they're hanging around and they become friends or on Facebook. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm really close with that teacher, and like they do with the DJs, and all of a sudden they seem to get a dance because they've made relations, got to be friends or whatever. So on the flip side of what you're saying, maybe someone's not confident and they really not getting dances and they'll pay. But on the flip side, there's some cosmetic, aesthetic kind of reasons as well. People, paying to be seen with a dance teacher. So anyway, we're going to move on quickly. I just want to get some comments here. Liv, funny one. What if the teacher needs a loo at the time? Well, Liv, what I'd say, if the teacher needs a loo, they got to think twice. They've been paid to do this. So that's my answer to that one. I think Emma, again, making some good comments. Thank you, Emma. She's saying here, it's a bit of a moan. Thank you, Emma. We should be allowed freedom. I mean, for goodness sake, what is going on in the world? Yeah, we're all asking that question. It's dancing, free time to reset and be social. How much would you pay for a dance? So, guys, I'm going to move on now. I'm going to say, is paying for a dance pushing against the moral boundaries? I think we know 85% the answer to that one. I'm going to go to our special guest, Rashida. Is paying for social dances with teachers pushing moral boundaries?
I guess but what is moral and amoral is decided by the community that you're in, right? And as we are gathered here today, most of us are in agreement. Kizomba or potentially salsa or Afro-Latin culture is that the social aspect of dancing is an organic social interaction. So my opinion would be that yes, it is pushing against, it's unethical to pay for social dances. I'm absolutely in agreement with the other panelists that private classes, private lessons, festivals, standard night, what have you, if you want to pay for a time to refine your dances, I'm here for it, no problem. But after I have been booked to do something and I'm in a social place, my friends have come or whatever, I'm socializing with people outside of my students, then that is it's transactional. You invite, I accept, or you invite and I don't accept. And that should be my prerogative. Would not be comfortable put into a position where that transaction has now become monetarized and I'm pressured to dance with you. That's man or woman. I think it just throws it all out. But I do understand that people want to be seen to be a good dancer so they can potentially have organic dances in the way that I'm speaking about. And yes, Winston alluded to there is a part of our dance community who are wallflowers for the majority of some nights or what have you, and potentially this is a way in to reduce that fear of rejection, stop being a wallflower, enjoying your night, and potentially having people see that you can dance because you're dancing with a professional, and then hopefully generating organic dances that way. I think morals are a subjective thing. So if you're coming to a social event and your moral compass is off, then that seems acceptable to you. But if you have morals that wants to maintain the culture of dance, regardless of whether it's Kizomba, Semba, Afro House, Jungle, or what have you, you would take those risks. You would take those relational risks in those settings to build friendships, like Andrew was talking about. Mistakes are a huge part of your dancing journey, and dancing with a professional just gives you a full sense of how good you are, because you may be able to, a professional will adapt to you, a professional will compensate for your mistakes, and a professional will protect you from floating elbows and splits and kicks that happens in social settings or what have you, because we can preempt some of that coming as we're rotating around the dance floor. But then you will go off and dance with somebody else who's not a professional, and then what? Then your standard is skewed. So that professional doesn't come back. You're in, I don't know, just because of my context, you're in East London, you're dancing or what have you. You have a guest teacher from Birmingham or Portugal or Germany or what have you. You book that time in and you become molded to that professional dancer. When that person is no longer there, what are you doing? Are you still able to dance? Probably not. Probably not. And I've seen that on a regular basis. I mean, it happens even to me. So when I'm dancing, when I've got a handful of people that I dance with, I become so attuned to that particular person that sometimes when I dance with somebody else, I've predicted what the other person is going to do, how they interpret that music. So that's a different subject altogether, because attunement is really, really key when you're on a dancing journey, and you have to adapt to the persons you're dancing with. But that transactional and adding money towards it just makes it, I don't know, false gold, fake gold,
Okay.
because it
Thank you,
enhances your
Rashida.
dancing.
Thank you. It's I can see that you're leaning to be against it. Anna, if you can hear us clearly, Anna, I guess in
Yes,
simple terms,
madam.
is it wrong in your eyes?
I think it's wrong to pay to dance with anyone if you are already paying for social dancing. The problem is majority of the people, I would say in UK, because in Portugal, I am pretty sure that nobody would pay to dance with teachers. Actually, in Portugal, I don't see such a big deal around the teachers, because majority of the people go for dancing for having fun, and they don't have so many people turning down dances as well. That's a problem. But in UK, I already saw like queues of ladies, majority ladies, and I need to say that, to dance with teachers, and they don't understand that the teacher did their jobs teaching the class, and they can do whatever after the social. I think that's the problem. People assume that the teachers are there to social dance all the time, and they would pay for it. I'm pretty sure they would pay, but I think it's wrong. You shouldn't pay to dance with anyone if you already paid the social.
Thank you, Anna. Straight to Andrea. I'm sure you're really wanting to tell us, Andrea. Is it
Tell you
pushing the
what,
moral
yeah.
boundaries?
Sorry?
Is it pushing the moral boundaries? Is it wrong? Simply, if you want to put it simply, is it wrong?
Absolutely. I'm with Rashida. This is a social dance. I think that and the same. Winston was saying the other day how he'd gone to a festival and there was a line of ladies waiting to dance with a teacher, and he asked someone to dance and they said, no, I've got my place in the queue, I'm not leaving. They did dance with Winston, but she got her friend to hold her spot in the queue. I don't see how that is social. I don't see how that's a social part of it. And I get that there are some people in the dance scene, and that's right across the board, any dance, who get their validation from being seen with whoever. I will dance with beginners, I lead ladies, and I follow. Some of my best dances are with beginners, but I would never think about charging them for it, because no one ever charged me to dance with them, to be fair. When I started, it wasn't a thing. But I just don't see how a financial interaction can make the dance spontaneous. Somebody mentioned in the group, if somebody doesn't like the dance, would they ask me for a refund? Or if I've paid however much it is, and I dance with the teacher and he's been, or she, because I may ask a lady teacher to lead me, they've been teaching all day, they're shattered. They come to my dance late in the evening and I think, well, do you know what? That wasn't worth it. Do I get a refund? Can I say, actually, that was not, how would I judge that wasn't what I paid for? You know, if I buy a television and it doesn't work, it's very clear that it's not worked, and there's the Trades Description Act and all of that sort of stuff. But if I have a dance and I just think, well, I can tell you weren't putting the effort into that, do I get my money back? Because I would like to ask for my money back if I didn't think that I got value for money. And then how is that going to affect that teacher if they then think, oh my God, I didn't give value for money. Oh my God, what am I going to do now? You know, do we do like what's that, Trustpilot, saying, oh yeah, don't pay for that teacher to dance with them, it's rubbish. It's a social thing. We're meant to be going out and dancing and having fun, and I think we're starting to lose the fun side of dancing. Yeah, the best dances I've ever had were in Angola, because everybody danced because they wanted to dance with, and they would come and ask you, because I've been the Rua down on the Marginal in Luanda, and they just come up and they love to dance. So they see you're standing there and they want to dance with you. There's no hierarchy. Well, there was a hierarchy. There always is, wherever you go. But I couldn't. Oh, it just goes against my grain to charge. You know me. I've taught for years for free because I want people to share my passion for dance, not because I'm going to make money out of it.
I think I'll give you an answer to one of your questions, Andrea. You won't be getting your money back, because that's like saying you've run your event and someone's left and said that was awful or that DJ was bad. I don't think you give the money back. So I think that will be your answer. I don't think you'll be getting your money back. And
you don't know if I wouldn't give that person their money back. If they came to me and we had a conversation and I felt they didn't have a great night, I invited them to my event. I invited them to come to my home, to my house. That's how I see when I was running events. If they didn't feel they had a good time, we're going to have a conversation about that and find out why they didn't have a good time. Can I offer you free entry next time? What can we do? That's the social side of it. That's the interaction that you have with people. It's not a financial transaction. For me, it's not about the money. It's about everybody having a good time, and it's about having those conversations. It's become everything is about how much is that, how much you're going to pay, how much, how much do I get paid for doing this, that, and the next thing.
It's
We're
the
losing it.
world we live in. It's the world we live in, I'm afraid. Quickly on Super Dixon, she's made some good points there, Andrea. Is it blurring? Is it, pushing the boundaries, the moral boundaries?
Like I opened the show, I already said that ethically and culturally is wrong. It is wrong. But again, there's a lot of things that happen. And this is again, it's like, to be honest, us Palop artists are the one that pay the huger price, because these people in Europe that are acting up like they're Kizomba ambassadors or whatever. Again, and I don't judge, because again, I think it's important that I get this into place. Everybody that promotes, like everybody in this panel, promotes Kizomba with their hearts. Do you know what I mean? You got everybody, people from different backgrounds. Do you know what I mean? And everybody is living the culture and is respecting the culture. You know what I mean? Everybody understands we are on this point in the same page. Do you know what I mean? But what happens is other people acting up like self-prophets of the culture or the business or whatever, and decide to monetize stuff. Do you know what I mean? Most of us, what we end up doing is we end up following our principles and we end up missing out. But there's a few tenue lines, do you know what I mean, when it's presented a business contract. And again, we will depend on that business contract. Kind of, I think was Rashida that mentioned that. The business contract will dictate certain things. It's up to me to obviously see the viability of that proposal and accept it or not. Is this going to make me feel like a sellout? It depends. If you remember back in the day, taxi dancers, it wasn't a new, it wasn't, with respect. Winston has been a taxi dancer for many, many years, and he wasn't a teacher. Do you know what I mean? And when this trend of everybody could be a dance teacher, me as a business, I lost a big chunk of my business because I used to get paid to go to festivals. I'm not teaching, I'm not DJing, but they pay me to be there so I can dance with everybody. Obviously, at my own given pace. I do when I want, who I want, or whatever, But we used to get paid to turn up to places. We used to define our own rules. If we get, this is again business decision. Did you were smart enough to get a hotel, get transport? Some people would pay their own stuff, attend. Some taxi dancers would even artists would turn up for free. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 15 years. Very rarely there's many things that I won't do for free today. But I paid my way doing a lot of things for free for the people. For the people. Many, many things I did. And who knows me knows me. I did everything for the community, even free parties I used to throw. Do you know what I mean? Like it was free, like in Portugal. Anna knows this. In Portugal, the parties were for free. You know what I mean? So even that I did. So what I'm trying to say is, in a business point where I am at like right now, I don't agree with a lot of things, but depending how the contract would be served at me, it's up to me to think if I agree or not. Not gonna lie, if it's ethically, if I don't agree with the principles of it, it's most likely that I do, which I won't accept to work there. Much, much likely. You know what I mean? I stick always to my grounded to my principles. But again, business is business. So if the person who's organizing the event is finding a way of not interrupting the flow process of things, that's why I mentioned what I mentioned, because I dig deeper into how the organizer is organizing the things, even then not agreeing with most of it, but I dig deeper to understand how they're doing this concept, this festival thing with the paid dancers. That's why I mentioned what I mentioned, that this is not going to be made after the event. You guys are talking about what we call in Portugal, o suponhamos, what if. I'm not talking about what ifs. I'm talking about how this controversial is being led, how they want to start this malarkey. You know what I mean? And that's how they're going to do it. But I personally believe if they go through with it, they open the Pandora's box for more stuff. It is what it is.
Thank you, Super Dixon. I think we're unanimous here, and I think the panelists do not like the idea of doing this. Now, I want to move quickly on because we've got a load of comments, But I want to start again with Mr. Fox. Paying for the dances with the teachers socially, is this blurring the line? And when I mean blurring the lines, is this all of a sudden not just a nice dance? Is it, are we going into something, yourself, Super Dixon, male teachers, maybe some dancers are, wanting to get to the top of the tree? And what way can we do it? We can be their friend on Facebook. We can talk to them at the event and say, oh, how do you do this move? But by paying you, they're going to get really close. Are the lines possibly going to be blurred by someone paying to dance with you, Winston?
Well, personally speaking, I mean, I'm a new teacher, but if somebody had approached me to have a card and book dances, I would just flatly refuse anyway. I just wouldn't do it. End of. I don't care how much money I could possibly make from it. For me, it's not about money. It's about principle. So for me, yes, it can be blurred because we all know things can happen, particularly at festivals, and to stop someone saying, right, I've booked you to dance and a lovely dance, but do you know what? I have a room upstairs. I'm going to pay you to do something else. For me, it's just the wrong message entirely. I really hate the idea that someone's brought this to the fore. I just think it's morally wrong. It's just bad practice, a bad idea. And for me, we pay money to get into a festival. You get your ticket, dance with everybody, social dance. You learn some, even if you don't dance with a teacher, but you attended a class and you dance around, you'd learn so much just by dancing on the floor. And if you don't get dances, go and ask somebody. Often people sit down, they're not dancing, go and ask somebody to dance, And I the idea that people are sort of put teachers up as somebody great and all this massive status, and if they're gods. I had the idea. I think sometimes people can be very shallow, and I think it's just a shame. Dance with everybody, and for me, even if you have taxi dancers in an event, I'd rather see taxi dancers in festivals than they come up with this idea and this notion of booking a dance with a teacher to have the experience. To me, it's wrong. I'd rather you have a few taxi dancers that go dance with everybody. Maybe that way people don't feel excluded, don't have this idea that, they're trying to sell an experience. Where does it stop? What kind of experience do you want to sell? It's a lot of other things. So I think we need to stop it in the bud, nip it in the bud, and just get rid of this bad idea. It's a terrible idea.
And who's going to do that, Winston? I mean, who's going to start the march to stop this before it starts?
Well, it's the promoters. You are the promoter. If you're going to have an event, right, just do it in the good old-fashioned way. You get teachers that are going to do the classes. People book the class, and that's the end of it. Some festivals are now in separately a master class, and you pay extra for that class. It's meant to be certain higher level. That's it. But this notion of paying a social dance, it's down to the promoter, and also responsibility of the teachers to say, well, no, I'm not down with that practice. Get rid of it. That's bad for the Kizomba scene. So then the teachers need to speak up. Yeah. And obviously the students themselves or attendees need to have more respect for yourself and just dance with everybody. Yes, okay, if you want to queue up for the teacher, like Andrea said, I had experience. I went up to one of the lines. I didn't really see there was a line, and I invited to dance, and she turned to me and said, I'm waiting for the teacher. And when I looked, there was a whole line of people waiting for the teacher, and I was shocked. I was like, goodness, you lot are just going to waste time waiting to dance with that teacher. And what she said, I'll get a friend to take my spot and I'll dance with you. But once with her, she's looking. to see if the teacher's near ready for her spot. But at least that way you're not paying. You can waste your time queuing up if you want to, but don't monetize the scene. You know, I just think it's such a bad name. Just come and enjoy yourself and party. That's what Kizomba's meant to be about. Party, enjoy yourself. End of. Not paying to dive some, you know, trumped up teacher who thinks they're, you know, God Almighty. It's just wrong idea for me.
I will say, guys, the world is changing. I'm one that doesn't like the way things are going. In everything, in our jobs, everything is changing. In our hobbies, things are changing. Isn't this just a natural progression? You know, people. I shouldn't mention names, but people like Tanya that, you know, they're trying to save the culture. They, you know, look at what Europe's done. You know, they've taken it, they've monetized it, they've bastardized it. It's after 10, I think, after 9. So, you know, she's got a valid point. But then again, would Kizomba be what it is today without that exposure in Europe, without people putting it out there? Of course, they're going to, you know, Super Dixon put on 3 events. I've done 3 events. You know, some of us might have. But at the end of the day, you know, things cost money. And I'm looking at this. Is it the next natural progression? Oh, what can we do next? Is it a matter of an organized? Well, by the way, it's not the organizer making the money, it's the teacher. So is this the next way? Are they being innovative and saying, you know what, I could do this, I could make a little bit more money. At the end of the day, I'm providing a service. They want to dance with me, they can pay for it. And if they pay for it, you know, they can't really say no, but I suppose they can reject the request in the sense of the request comes in, you know, and they can say no, but they're less likely to deny the request if they're paid. So I just think next step, is it a natural progression? I'd say, Rashida, you're currently teaching. What do you think about that? Is it blurring the lines? Is it, you know, maybe a woman likes a teacher and sees this as a way into also guys, Andrea? Is this a way in to get closer? I mean, I'm starting to think we need the kids police to come back and show their faces, because I think things are going a bit downhill. I think it's blurring the lines, me personally. I think Winston saying that, Super Dixon saying it. Rashida, give us a bit more on your thoughts about, you know, this kind of, could it be something it's not? It's not actually they want to dance with the teacher. Maybe they like them. Maybe it's their way to get closer. What do you think?
I definitely think it's a possibility, Gary. Like, we're human beings, and we don't know what motivates people to come to our dance scene, to our dance community. Some people come for social connection. Some people come for different types of connection. I can't account for everybody and what's going on in their minds, but it definitely does open. Well, there may have been a window open in Kizomba to have that, but they're just kicking in the door, waving the 4-4 with this foolishness. Because I think I said in the comments that I do think it's an extension of prostitution. You are selling yourself. You're no longer selling a product or something that you have refined as a class, right? You're teaching a class. You've given some thought. Yes, you are selling yourselves in the sense of marketing yourself and what have you. But selling yourself on the dance floor socially is an extension of prostitution. So take what you want from that. That is my view. And I'm usually quite balanced, but actually this is kind of riling me up, because yes, it can open the door to other things. Subject on your show before, but the ugly side of the dance scene, and like you say, the Kizomba police and all of the things, the rumors and stuff that go around, this is just going to be more risky for our community. And when it talks about a dissatisfied service and stuff like that, I know Andrea was jesting about her TV, but satisfaction can be absolutely amplified. I paid for 2 sessions. I wanted my half an hour. I want my half an hour in your room. No, it's not safe for those who are wanting to let me not say that word, who want to sell themselves socially. It's not safe for them, male or female. And I also think that it just creates more negative press, for want of a better word, for the social dancing. And we don't need it. We want to go back to the proper values of dancing in a community. That's what Kizomba means. It's not all of this nefarious dancing in low light foolishness that is going on at the moment.
Nothing wrong with low light, Rashida. Nothing wrong with low light.
Oh yes, there is. That is for the bedroom, so keep it there.
As you can see. Okay, so some lovely comments. Clarissa, the pressure on the teacher would be huge to ensure that they get those paid dances up to value the client expects. Well, before we carry on with that, there needs to be some policies in place to say, well, they can take no, you know, if it is what it is, you take the risk, you pay, and there's going to be some policies there, I'm sure, if it's done professionally and done properly. If it doesn't connect and enjoy the dance, will they ask for a refund? Andrea made that valid point. Thank you, Clarissa. I don't think they can. I think, you know, it's like when you go on a night out. Every time we go to a club, I've been to a club where for 10 times in a row, it's been not good. You know, am I going to ask for 10 times money back? I don't think that works. Emma's saying there are so many dancers, but are amazing dancers. This is the utmost respect. So yeah, go and ask the people to dance. But again, we've seen it where women, in particular women, look at a guy and say, I know guys reject women a lot, but I don't think in favor of a better dancer or a teacher. I think this is a bit leaning towards a woman looking for that. So guys, don't shoot me. It's just my opinion. Another one here. Liv, she's saying, think of the misconnections if you turn people down, yeah, that aren't teachers. And I think that's what we're coming to next. It's a very good point, Liv. I think you've snatched our glory there. Emma's saying, I agree, we dance with our hearts, not our wallet. So that's responding to what we were saying, Andrea and Super Dixon. Okay, so guys, I think we're going to go to the next one. Do you lose a connection after there's a financial part of this deal? Let's say it's a deal. Do you lose a connection? Super Dixon, do you feel like if someone pays you, it's a bit more robotic? It's a bit, you know, uncomfortable? What do you think? Do you know in your mind?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if we're talking to a perspective of a Kizomba person like myself or many of us that dance with the soul, that dance with the connection, that person is paying me to that specific time. Therefore, connecting with them is just the process. Obviously, like you guys were mentioning earlier, what the DJ is playing, yes, that's important. But for example, in a private lesson, I choose the music that I would connect to. Hopefully, the person would like. So it's just, again, it's just a sharing, a connection. In this case, with the music that I would have connection. Sometimes in the private, I even ask to the person, do you have a specific song you like? I can only cross fingers that I like it too. But if I wouldn't, I would still will try to emulate, the connection. What's happening is if we're dancing more technical dances, like, for example, samba, or in this case, the urban stuff, do you know what I mean? Which is purely based on technical. I don't see any soul in that dance, for example, but if the people are willing to pay for that, to tick, 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 tukutak, tukutak, man, people pay for what they want in the end of the day. Connection is subjective. Connection will always be subjective on this, but at the end of the day, it's just a transaction. Do you know what I mean? What people were saying earlier, I didn't agree with some things that were said in the show, but again, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? What I think is social dance, it's something that usually, and honestly, in the UK, most of us artists get to figure out we don't get paid for social dance. And that's what happens in a lot of festivals. They charge that amount of money and they forgot to add social dance. I know for a fact there's a lot of places like in America that the artists are actually paid extra for the social dance. So that's not the construct that doesn't exist. Exists. But in the UK, it's not popular. In the UK, people assume I pay for the festival, I may have the chance to dance with a teacher or not. But that's exactly where it comes this one tightest, because in the UK, people don't see us teachers, none of us, when we're in a festival, like superstars. They don't. Some do, some don't. But in Europe, listen, I've been in a festival abroad in Egypt, and I was a bit flabbergasted. All these people doing a queue to take pictures with me. And I'm like, I didn't remember signing a paper that I would have to take pictures with these people. But you know what? Fine. I was there. He was giving me drinks, the organizer, giving me drinks. I was like, drinks? I want money. But fine. I took the pictures. I smiled. I didn't smile fakely, even if I would get paid. If I was getting paid, trust me, my smile would be even more Eddie Murphy. But what I'm trying to say is, again, the part that loses the soul is that social dance is something that comes from the Kizomba family. It comes from the family structure. You know what I mean? This goes from salsa, bachata, Kizomba. It's a dance from the street. Do you know what I mean? So that's why for me, for example, business-wise, it's not a business, it's not a thing here in the UK. So I don't make a fuss of it because I love social dancing. Most of the times I stay till the end. I'm not paid to stay till the end. I can leave whenever I want. That's the truth. But I do my best to stay in the floor and to dance with as much as people as I can, because I know a lot of these people actually bought a ticket to have a chance to dance with us artists. And this is the part that people forget. A lot of people look at the artist as the higher form of dance. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make me above Winston, above Andrea, above Rashida, above even you, Gario. Like you said, I'm just a dancer. Or Anna. It doesn't. But in a status quo, do you know what I mean? When you're talking about someone that has a big name or whatever that means, you know, some people dream and fly in their minds. It is what it is. And these people are willing to put their money in this stuff. Do we agree? We may not, but people can do with their money what they want. It's just a point of us thinking, would we put ourselves in that situation? I don't know. It's just like I said, it's when it comes from business, there's a lot of things I had to learn that doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make culturally sense, but in the best way I can finish this, and I think this is again Portuguese saying, if the white people are doing it, we're gonna make it too. Share money away.
Thank you, Super Dixon. Lovely Portuguese. I was saying there.
Acho que são brancos que se entendam, né?
Andrea, we've got loads of questions and we've got loads of comments. In short, do you believe you lose a connection because of the financial part of the kind of dance requests?
Again, I'm taken back to the tango of yesteryear, where men paid women of the night to dance with them in the street or in the clubs and things. So for me, if I had to pay somebody to dance with me, I would feel that that's not spontaneous and that's not a connection that I would want to dance with somebody. No, I want someone to dance with me because they want to dance with me, that they're enjoying the music, they're hearing the music first and thinking, I love this song, who can I dance with? That's how, to me, that's how the social dance is. That's how my friends who are from the PALOP, countries, they say, oh my God, I love this song, and grab you and go and take you to dance. I with total respect for some of the teachers that are out there, I wouldn't pay to dance with them if they were the only people alive in the world, because I do not like the way they dance. I cannot think of very many teachers. The teachers that I know that are my friends would never ask me to pay them to dance anyway, and they will come and grab me and we'll dance. But I cannot think of any teacher out there that I would pay to dance with. I honestly, seriously could not think that it is worth my hard-earned cash. And I wouldn't want somebody who's already forked out for a festival or a class to pay that extra. Part of being a teacher and part of being a dancer is that we want to share our passion for dancing. It's lost that. I know several salsa teachers particularly who are very money orientated and everything is about money. And no, I won't go to their. I don't go to their events. I don't, help promote them. I don't do anything because they've lost the joy that their parents instilled in them because they're from the country of origin of the dance. But no, to me, I couldn't imagine. Like I say, when I was in Angola, and you go to the Kizomba Narua is a free dance that they do every Sunday night on the Marginal in Luanda, and it's free, but people donate money to the guys that run it, and you buy t-shirts and stuff like that, and that to me is the social side of it, because you're supporting these guys. They're doing it because they love dance, they love music, they love their culture. How is something that's monetized about passion and about the love of, so my brain, I'm trying really hard to be careful what I say so I don't offend anybody, but there are several industries out there where you pay for what is normally free, given with love and given with passion and given because of that connection with that person. And it's not the same thing if you're paying for it. That's all I've got to say for that, because that no, we can't.
Spit it out. Come on.
No, because if I do, some people might be offended.
Say it.
No, because you all know what I'm thinking, and I'm a lady.
Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to move on, guys. I'm going to go to some of these comments. Our loyal supporters.
Please do.
Engage them. Lawrence is trying to be funny, but it's a good point. Are these teachers taxed on their earnings? I don't know about that, Lawrence, but we can surely find out. Who have we got here?
Not if abroad, nobody's taxed.
Liv's leaving us. She's left the show. Thank you, Liv, for joining. And see you next time. Hopefully you'll be on the panel for the next show. A lovely long message here from Shanda. Shanda said, the promoter will have no control over how many paid dancers are operating within their event, and they could impact on the quality of the experience of the event. It's true. No one who could go to this is a good point, because what happens if this teacher has lined up dances with 10 socialites, 10 people at the event? This is going to impact. You're going to have people queuing, making sure they don't lose their space because they paid. It's something we're going to have to come to. I think I'm going to move on to the next question, and I want every one of you to answer very quickly. Okay, how is this going to work with regards to organizer puts the event on, you the teacher are lining up your own dance card, paid dance card. How is this going to work with the music? How is it going to work timing wise with like certain events? They do a birthday section. How is this all going to time in between because remember, you've told us that it's the dancer sorry, dancer has to do it with the organizer, not the organizer, but the teacher. So it's not even the organizer. They're arranging this with the teacher. Now, what does that teacher need to do with the organizer? What policies are in place to make sure, you know, if the dance is not up to scratch in the world of the dancer's head, you know, they can't get their money back because the policy's there. So quickly, in a few short words, how is it going to work with the teacher and the organizer to get this set up? Andrea, quickly, very quickly, you're the organizer. How are you going to work this with the teacher? They've lined up 7 dances. It's all been paid for. You've okayed this and authorized it. Tell us.
I wouldn't I wouldn't authorize it, Gary, and you know I wouldn't do it, so that's not really but I mean, it's like anything. If you've agreed it and you've got if it's a contract, that's the thing within the dance world as well. Contracts really don't mean an awful lot in the dance world, I understand. I don't know how you would do it, because it's such a foreign concept to me. I couldn't think how it would work. You're better off asking, I don't know, somebody who would think of charging for dancing, because it's just so abhorrent to me that it's not something you couldn't police it. How would you police it? We can employ really tall bouncers.
I'm asking you, Andrea, how would you do it? That's what the question
I
is.
wouldn't do it, Gary O. I absolutely would not. It's not something that I would have. If people want to come and organise it for themselves in one of my events, then fine. They'll soon be shown the door, because that's not, people pay their entrance and that's it.
Andrea's not interested in this, so just put this in your head. Imagine you agreed.
Wait. You've got a point. Because if it's something that we wouldn't do, we wouldn't then be considering how we're going to implement it. So I'll give you an example. I travelled many times last year to festivals abroad. Yeah, not once seen this implemented in any of those festivals. So this was something that some up an idea of giving people an experience and trying to probably monetize for the teachers. Probably they'll get a small percentage from it as well. Probably that was the idea behind it. But every festival that I have gone to, it has not been implemented. So I think we shouldn't really be talking about how it will be implemented. I think what we should be talking about is what should we do to ensure it isn't implemented and ensure people dancing with everybody in a social setting. So we go back to what we had before of Kizomba dances, Kizomba parties, and everybody dancing with each other. I think that to look at to ensure that we don't get other people looking to monetize this system of this enjoyment of parties that we were going to. So that's how I look at it. I wouldn't look at it like how it would work. I would look at it, how can we drop the idea that someone's now put on the scene that they can monetize the process, because I think it just goes against the whole grain of what we have been involving Kizomba scene for. It's completely against that. So what we need to do is knock it out, make sure it doesn't happen.
Winston, I'm going to tell you here, it could very well happen. It could very well happen. People said we've got to stop urban, we've got to do all this, we've got to stop dark rooms, got to stop the lights turn out. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, I think it's going to happen. And unfortunately, I think a few will follow once people see it works. Other teachers going to say, well, if you listen, because I remember at a time you would never consider having an urban room with a Kizomba room, and now it's more or less standard. I think it's going to happen. So what you'll do, you'll see a few, Dixon teaching mates. You know what? This is life changing. This money, that extra money that's coming in, you might find Super Dixon says, well, you know what? That's how we got to roll. Life's moved on. Kizomba's moved on. Look, from a social dance for a culture, it's now grown and blown up into this monster. It's going to happen. Maybe not widespread, but it's going to happen. So, I feel like, you know, we could reverse the question to you, Winston. How are you going to stop it? Because, you know, you've got to build an army.
Well, okay, for me, if I don't do promoting, but if I was doing promoting, if I was promoting an event,
We're saying organising,
or organizing or promoter, I would not dream of any teacher coming into my event with a notion that he profitize from doing, you know, one-to-one dancing with people during that night. I would just act. Look, I wouldn't have it. If it means I've got to get him to sign, he or she to sign a contract, that's what we do. And you know, if it means I would have to withhold payment from them if they were in breach of it. But as a promoter or organizer, I would make sure that that does not happen, full stop. And I think if you do that, people know that your events, and you're doing things to actively promote people dancing with each other, not just doing normal teaching. Because, you know, there's often we go out and we do see a line of women dancing because there's an imbalance. So maybe what promoters and all need to do is look at the imbalance. What can we do to redress this issue where, you know, leads are booking late at festivals, and so you get a load of, you know, followers waiting. I mean, people are actively doing that. They're reducing the ticket sales and slowing things down to try and even up that balance. And I think if they do that, you're going to get a much more equal level of people going out, enjoying and in dancing with everybody. I think that's it. I mean, I think if you're going to monetize this system, you're going to lose that element of eyes, you know, and that spontaneousness that you get from someone inviting you to dance and you don't even know who the person is, and you go and dance with that person, then they give you a wonderful dance. You think, wow, I'm not expecting that. That was just lovely. But you're going to lose all of that because you're just trying to push, you know, people to dance with this person to get some money from. No, it's just a idea for me. So as a promoter, I would emphasize that people coming to my events, I'm trying to redress the balance of male and female. We're trying to keep, and even if it means you have a few taxi dancers in place that go around and pick up people that are not dancing and make sure they have a nice experience, that's what I would do. I wouldn't look of, you know, people trying to get teachers to make more money from selling an experience. I'll just outlaw it, full stop.
Okay, Winston, I'm going to add to that. I've not really said much on the subject. What I would say is you've made some very good points, and they're wishful points. I mean, we still haven't sorted out the issue with the taxi dancers. They are not, and I'm generally, and I know a couple of yourself, you know, and a couple of others that do dance with quite a few of the ladies available on the night, but there's many that don't. So we still haven't actually sorted out that. It looks like we will never balance. And
that's probably going to be another topic.
Before we're going to say, also, even if you get the balance right in events that we've been to, you know, people still, you know, if it's 50-50, there's some guys that are only going to dance with 6 women, 5 women, the women they want to dance with, despite it being 50-50. So when I'm just looking at your, you know, I call it wishful thinking in a way, because after all these years we've been dancing, there's, you know, you guys, some of you guys been dancing way before. It's never changed. It's still happening. So I'm just here to say, I think not widespread, but this thing is going to happen. And, you know, maybe teachers are going to organize their own events and implement this. So, you know, this is the reason I'm kind of trying to push you to see it, but all of you not seeing that. So, Winston, you wanted to come back on that before we move on?
Well, not what I said. I've not seen it in Kizomba. I don't know of urban because that's not my. So I don't know whether this is something that has started to creep into that environment. I don't know. You know, maybe people are tuning and maybe comment, but certainly all the festivals that I've been to abroad last year, not once did I see this initiative being implemented. So I've got comfort that it's not going to take precedence and things will remain as they are. And I think obviously I've had people that are quite prominent in the scene actively speaking out against it. And as long as we've got that, from those individuals, it will help to stop the spread of this crazy initiative. And promoters will start to think twice when they see people that we regard as the Kizomba police speaking out against such things, right? Then will help to, quash this just as an idea without it actually getting off the ground. So we do need the Kizomba police, and they have spoken. And as I said, I've not seen it implemented, not yet.
Q, our lovely guest, special guest Rashida, I think I'm going to come to you now. The guys have spoken. Andrew's not even interested in discussing it. Winston's against it. We can see why. We know why. He suggested why. Rashida, as one of the old school, maybe one of the Kizomba police, say, what do you think on this? Do you believe? I don't know. I don't know if I can rephrase it or put it in a different way. But
I heard you, and I'll accept your invitation to put my mind against what I actually believe. Like, I absolutely agree with both Winston and Andrea. However, if I was booked for an event and this was stipulated in the contract, or something like that, or it would definitely have to be. So part of, like, paying for my time, I disagree with. Paying for my time in a social part, I disagree with. However, there have been some promoters who have booked me and have been insistent, which I do anyway, but have been insistent that the first 2 hours I dance with everybody or what have you. I feel like that as an encouragement to do that, or if it's contracted to do that, that's fine, because it's something that I would do anyway. I like to dance with my students after my class. I like to play around with the routine. I like to test whether they've learned it, or whether they can adapt to a different transition or what have you. I enjoy that part of being a dance instructor. So that being in the contract is by the by. However, if after that time, so after my hour and a half of doing what I need to do with my student, it's my time, and no, it's not happening. So I'm trying my best to accept your invitation, Gary, but I don't know if I could go as far as saying that I would be of the ilk to book in time slots and be paid 50 quid for XYZ or what have you. I can't. Like, my body is worth more than that. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. To me, it's an extension of prostitution. And so you wouldn't see me in that space. I would most definitely dance with students socially and all of that sort of stuff. I don't require additional payment. And Super Dixon is absolutely right. There are certain promoters outside of Europe, outside of the UK, that pay for your time, your social time as well. So that seems absolutely normal for me. But paying for thing that's not a private class feels, it doesn't work for me. Sorry, Gario. And in terms of like the Kizomba police or what have you, let's just not forget that these are grown people that are making executive choices about how they want to spend their time. I'm not policing nobody. It is not my job to police anybody. If we have had a connection or what have you, and you've become a bit more than teacher and student, and we're having a conversation or whatever, I would absolutely give you some information for you to make an informed decision about that for yourself. But I ain't policing nobody. We are in an adult focused community. We've got things like consent and what have you. Yes, there's questions about morals and what have you, but it's for people them business to do that. I don't have to accept your lack of morality. I don't have to be invited into that space. I can refuse. No teacher, whatever. I am not a donkey. So I don't have to be pulled into those spaces if I don't need to be. And don't book me. I think I've been doing this for so long, I'm not that fast. I go to festivals, I don't go to festivals, I go to an event, I don't go to an event. I don't need to be put into a place to sell an experience that degrades me. And actually people who buy that are degrading themselves as well. And I've been more opinionated than I have been in a long time. But that's what happens when you book me after I've done another 5.
Wow. But what I'll say, guys, I have to obviously balance this out. I just feel like, when you're, I want to come back to something Super Dixon said quickly. Paying for your social time for the listeners and viewers, what does that exactly mean? So abroad they pay for your, what are they paying you to do? Stay behind and sit down and drink, or are you at,
So
what
this
are they
is like,
asking of
this
you?
is something in the lines of what Rashid just said. It's like we get paid to teach classes. Some of us make a deal to DJ also. So there will be an allocated time here to work. But since the social begins, for example, in the UK, they asked us politely to do some social. But again, okay, I can do some social. I'm not going to do what I used to do many, many years ago, which is kill myself in the dance floor like I used to, like 2 dances in a row. And then I see all the other artists doing their thing upon thing, which is nothing to do with this thematic, but not doing the thing, which is to actually social dance. So what happens abroad is simple, is they're going to pay us an extra amount per hour for us to be there dancing whatever we want, wherever we can, as much as we can to be at service of the social dance floor. And sometimes they asked us 2 hours. It depends on the length of the party. They pay us a bit extra to do that, to that gig. We do so, and after that, like Rashida said, after that I can do what the hell I want. If I want to go to bed, I go to bed. If I don't want to stay there, I bounce. There's a lot of artists that get paid way more money than you guys can fathom. The social dance is not even included. And they just go do that. They do the workshops. They show to the social to take a photo, and they disappear. You don't see them in social. And I can tell you this. I can tell you this. Again, I don't. One of the things that I don't agree entirely with the prostitution thing is because I'm not gonna lie. You guys can say what you want, and I'm not trying to say this like we are. Again, we're not above anybody, but professional artists, and I'm a full-time artist. I don't have another job like I used to. I don't have a 9 to 5 like I used to. I do this full-time. Do you know what I mean? And if I can tell you that even if you have a good ratio, even if you have taxi dances, even let's say you have 50-50, 50-50, let's say you have an event that is very good, you have 50 women, 50 men, and even whatever is in the mix of taxi dancers, whatever, this 50 women still will want and will try to get a piece of the artists, of the popular whatever is of the artist that is on the flyer. Everybody wants a little bit of the experience. It is how it is. It is how it has been. You know what I mean? It's not nothing new here. You know what I mean? So when we talk about the ratio, people think the problem is the ratio. Nah, it's not. It's the meager one-tightest of some people that want to pay that money to dance with Daniel and Desiree or with Sarah Lopez. Oh, I want to dance with Sarah Lopez so bad. You know, because Sarah Lopez or Albir. Again, this is the point that is needs to understand. You know, a lot of people don't understand. I've seen Winston and I've seen Lee Smooth on the dance floor. I'm not gonna lie. I take the hat to them because they do the job properly. Many taxi dancers. I've seen you dancing an hour with a customer. That's taking liberties. Do you know what I mean? Even artists that I see doing that, again, they're not getting paid to do social dance. They can do whatever they want. So again, it's not my job to police nobody. In fact, it's nobody's job to police nobody. We are all adults. If someone wants to cash out and pay me whatever to dance 1 hour, dance 2 hours, bro, I already do that with private dances. It's part of the business. I didn't invent it. It was already here. Do you know what I mean? Now they want to implement something that is a bit unethical. Again, it's unethical now. But if they find a way to make it, let's say, less prostitutional, I would say, you know, everybody's going to go on the bandwagon.
And this is
And I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying depends on how it goes. If I don't feel that I'm a mule, but I'm not going to lie, I've been in many events where I've seen the women queuing, and I see that queue never ends, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
The DJ plays Afro. Woo-hoo! I do the Afro, I disappear from the room. No, you don't see me again the whole time. It is what it is.
I think I'll just add on that. I think it's coming, guys. It's the way the world is going, these kind of things are going to happen, and I think we'll come back to that on another show. We've got Trevor.
I don't think that thing will be popular in the UK. I don't see it to be popular in the UK, but never say never.
Okay, thank you, Dixon. We've got Trevor Sweetlead here. He says 100% on what you're saying, Winston. Gender balance, I think, is one of these things that is at the root of this. So, good point, Trevor. But again, I will say it again on Winston made some very good points on how and what we need to do. But from the time I've been dancing, none of that has changed. And probably Rashid and Andrea, Dixon, you guys, even before us, it was a thing. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. And it's just the way people are. It's dance for different reasons, and I don't think that's going to change. Anna, are we going to convince you to pay for a dance with a teacher?
Not really. I wouldn't pay, but I keep saying so. As a student, as a business management university student, trading for me is a thing. So if there is people willing to pay, there will be people willing to sell. And I don't see people as selling their own body, or like I don't go further or for so far as prostitution. I just see it as a commercial trade. If people want to pay, why not? It's just establish boundaries like we establish on a dance floor. Everything needs to have boundaries. It. I
Yeah.
wouldn't pay. Honestly, I wouldn't pay. But I have loads of friends of mine, teachers, that the majority of the times I don't dance with, apologizing, saying, "I'm sorry, I cannot dance with you. Oh, this is busy. This is busy," because it's their life. So whoever has classes with them, women or male, they are expecting to dance on social with them. So this is the thing, and I think people would pay just to have a space. I'm not saying that it's gonna probably be a thing in UK. In Portugal, I would say it's not gonna be. People are not singers. We pay the same price to go to a club and to see performance. So, but I would think maybe in UK it's gonna be a thing.
Thank you, Anna. So Anna's not going to pay. So guys, I think the general consensus is we're not going to pay, and the teachers are not going to implement this. But for balance, we're talking about balance. I'm just going to put it out there. I think somewhere this is going to happen, and I think Dixon's starting to come around to the idea. Listen, business is business. If one or two of our known teachers start doing it, you'd be stupid not to think, hold on, I'll make this work for myself. It's, I remember Urban. When Urban came out, no. All of a sudden, they're alongside Kizomba, 4 events and a bigger room. Kizomba's in a small little room there, and no one believed it would happen. No one. Anyway, I must come to this comment. It's from Cam Thompson. Cam, how are you, mate? Here it comes, and it's a long one. Prostitution. The dance will probably be recorded and then be on a website as a presentation next week for the next event. I am happy for it to happen, not because I care in any way, but privately, if I see a woman queuing up for a dance, I consider it. You see? So, guys, this is from Cam, and he goes on to say, not because I care in any way, but privately, if I see women queuing up for a dance, I'll consider it a bit much, considering there is a whole social worth going on. I'll probably laugh and just discreetly avoid the video-like mindset. This is Western Kizomba. How many have brought more people to Western Kizomba than Sarah and Albert? Their videos are currently at 60 million views. He's got a point there. But I'm telling you it's coming, and I don't know who's going to do it, whether it's going to be in the urban urban area, or if it will, filter in to the Kizomba. And I can see people like Winston, he's saying it now, and he's really authentic in his thoughts. But if everyone's doing it, it'll be silly not to. I just got questions, guys. Time is running quickly. Who do you believe, if this option was available, who's more likely to take it up, female or male? Andrea.
I think just by the numbers in the dance scene, and we all know that it is female heavy, it's going to be the females who are paying. But I think, like Cam said, and as Winston said earlier, that there's a queue of people waiting to dance. There's a whole social scene going on. You're missing out on the rest of the room. To me, I go to an event to party, not to stand in a line waiting for somebody to dance with. I don't think it's a gender imbalance. There's always been a gender imbalance. And to be fair, I can be in a room where there are one female and 500 men, and I'll still be sitting there waiting for a dance. Men will choose to dance with who they want to. I doubt very much that men would be the ones who are paying. I can imagine that unless there is somebody that they really, really want to be seen with, and that's what I think a lot of this is around. The people who will pay, male or female, are the ones who want to be seen with. We used to call it the face when I was growing up, who was the face on the scene. And that's what people will want to do. To be fair, I didn't get into dancing because of Sarah Lopez. Never heard of her. No, that's not fair. I do know who that is, but that did not draw me to the scene. The person who drew me to the scene was someone from Angola, and that was a teacher, and she drew me into it. So no, but I do think that it is the women who will, as usual, bear the brunt. You go to any event and there's 30 women and 10 men. That's just how it is. But even if the men are there, they're not always dancing, and it depends as well, because if you go to a more palop heavy event, they're there usually with their partners and their friends, and they're there to socialize with their friends. They'll all go, they'll stand in a corner and they'll be drinking, and they'll be getting, seeing their friends they haven't seen all week, or maybe for a few months, or whatever. They're not there to dance. But if they hear a song that they like, then they go and they'll dance. They'll find someone to dance with. The Western, out of Africa, have a completely different view of how many dances can I get in a night. Have I got my money's worth? That's a very Western thing. For most, I would say most palops and the African sort of dances that I know, it's, have I had a good time? Did I enjoy the music? Was the DJ good? Did I see my friends? Did I socialize? There's a completely different view. When I was in Angola, yes, all the events, I didn't go to one single event that turned the lights off. All the lights were on all the time. So this, bringing it, as most African things, it seems to be, they sexualize the dance. They've taken it to a club scene. That's not where it's from. It's from somebody's back garden. It's from a family wedding. It's a family event. But the Western world has appropriated it, and they've said, right, we're going to make it ours. It's weddings.
Was the palops the club-sized Kizomba in Europe? Let's not get confused.
Sorry?
It was the palops who created the culture of night. In fact, it goes way back before that.
It was because when they came to
you're right.
Europe,
You're right. But at least in Angola, they still have the daytime thing as well. Yes. Which in the UK, in Europe, is harder to sell. But again, it was the palops who made the club night thing as well. but because of the colonizer. But another time I can explain that story. Another time.
Yes, thank you. So, Rashida, do you believe it's likely to be female? And you know what's really interesting? We keep coming back to this balance, taxi dancers, women lining up, but I can tell you, it's not really happened to me because I'm reading the room. I've seen women keep rejecting dances, and they rather stand there in the hope of dancing with Davido, yeah, because that's who they want to be seen with, and work out. Is it a learning thing? Andrew mentioned something to me earlier. Is it about them learning, teacher? Oh, I want to dance with him, or is it about being seen? And I think it's about being seen. I've seen women, Winston saying, "Go out there, there's loads of guys to dance with." Yet a guy goes up and they say, if he ain't a particular look, 6'4" or something, they're not interested. But a teacher, yeah, I'll pay for that. So I think we keep coming back to this imbalance kind of thing. What's your view? Is it likely to be that would pay for a social dance with a teacher?
I think that I agree with Andrea that just given the way the world works and the makeup of our communities in the UK, that it would be women that will pay for this more than men. I guess I feel really strongly about it. I doubt very much that I could even accept the idea of a man paying for my time as a dancer. As a dancer, I think culturally, as I'm an adopted palop, I'm not a real palop. I think that will cause a lot of stigma, and I personally would never ever go there. Not even, I don't. It doesn't even enter into my psyche. But I do think that it probably will be women. And yes, I do agree that it's the primary focus, without knowing people's internal mechanisms, is that validation. Look, I can see, I'm dancing with Joe Blogs or whatever it is, and look at how well I did. But to me, that's not the testament. When you talk about learning, that's not the testament of whether you're a good dancer or not. Can you dance with Bob, who just walked in the door yesterday? Can you follow him when he can only do the two-step? Can you follow her when she's still messing? Can you lead her when she can't do a cha-cha properly? Those are things that are testament to your ability as a dancer, not whether you can be flung around a dance floor by certain whatever hierarchy, amazing teachers or what have you. And just before we are closing, but my comment about this paying for stuff, if you're a consumer, if you're a customer of things, could I not dictate what service I want from you? Rashida, can you dip me like you did the woman over there? I did that with the women over there because I have a connection with her and I felt safe to do it. I don't necessarily have that connection with you. I don't know you from Adams. So that's the kind of not paying, the paying kind of scene. If customer, you can demand what you want, right? But I'll be quiet now.
Yeah, I think we are now at that time where we need to finish. But what I would say is you brought another point, Rashida. It's do we have a list of what we're going to do in that dance and what we're not going to do? I mean, the list is endless. How is this going to work? But someone is going to make it work. And one more thing, Super Dixon, our very own Super Dixon, social media era makes them wanting to be seen on their social media for likes. Now, it is gone crazy. We have had other esteemed people in the community talking about, videos. People actually, I've done it before. Can you video me teaching? But it's not to put online. It's just for myself. But there is this kind of notion of we've got to be seen and we're going to be with the big people, the dancers, the DJs. And I think the general consensus tonight for the viewers and listeners is a big no from Andrea for sure. Rashida, Winston, definitely. Super Dixon, he's saying no, but he's open to possibly incorporating it in his profile because it's going to happen, guys. I don't know where, I don't know when, but someone is going to make it work in some format. And I think we'll have to come back to that on another show. I think there'll be part 2 and 3. Our hope is that more of you will join us for those shows with more of your questions. So we'd like to thank Anna, who's just about to step on the plane, we believe. So safe journey back to UK. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you to
Thank
our
you, guys.
special
See you soon.
Shida. Where are you going to be next? Will you teach next before we depart?
Yeah. Sure. Chocolate Tuesdays. Classes start 8. And then again at 9. And then Friday, I'll be at my home at Unida Fridays at O'Neill's.
There you go, guys. Chocolate Tuesdays, Unida, where Rashida is a resident teacher. DJ Bulimundo will be on the decks. Mr. Fox. In closing, any last?
Well, for me, just sincerely hope it doesn't take off, and I haven't actually seen any evidence that it's going to take off in the Kizomba scene. As you know, I'm dead against it. I just think people need to get back to what we were doing before. We go to dance, we dance with many people, as we socialize, we interact, and we go and enjoy ourselves. You know, you might be surprised who you dance with and the actual dance experience you get from that person. Wonderful. You don't have to just try and get egotistic and dance with teachers, whether they're male or female. Just dance and have the element of surprise. That's what we got in the scene for. I think if we stick to that, then we're not going to go wrong. I don't think this is going to take off personally. I've not seen any evidence that it's going to. I think it was a brainwave by somebody. And yes, people might look at monetizing it. I can understand if it's your full-time job, people may well be interested in doing that. But I think hopefully people moral conscience will kick in and they'll see that actually it could lead to so many other things. It could be a can of worms. And I think, you know, just stick to the basic culture, and then I think we won't go wrong.
Thank you, Winston. Are you going to be teaching anywhere soon? Where can we find your next class, Winston?
We do our classes in batches of 6 blocks, so we're going to be starting courses sometime in February. We haven't got a date yet, but as soon as we've confirmed the date, then we'll put them out on social media. But it will be sometime in February.
Okay, thank you very much. Super Dixon, can you just tell your adoring fans where your next classes will be? Where can they find you?
Oh my God, adoring fans. Yeah, that's the root of the problem of this topic. Ay, madre mia. So for me, as you can see, it's a full schedule. It's a full schedule. I teach every day of the week pretty much. You can catch me tomorrow on my Super Kizomba show on Afro Latin Radio, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. On Wednesday, I go to Tunbridge Wells, Latin Fix, teach Kizomba. This is Kent area. On Thursday, I'm on with Jingaboo, Thursdays in Casa Ritmo in Elephant and Castle from 7 o'clock p.m., 3 levels. You're all more than welcome to join us as well. And Saturday, I'm going to Scotland, baby, Scottish Salsa Congress. And I'm going there to teach them people, teach the Highlanders how to dance Kizomba Samba. And I'm going to DJ as well. That's my schedule for this week. It changes every week, but that's my madness. Closing arguments. Would you want me to say extra?
Yes or no? Simple. Yes or no?
Well, I'm going to go ethically, like I said in the beginning, ethically, no. You know, but again, if they find a way of me doing that morally, this is one of the things I want people to understand, that I'm on the same par with Rashida and obviously Winston, that they're a bit more on the other spectrum. Like I said, in this business, I learned so many things, some things I don't agree with, you know what I mean? But in the end of the day, if I agree with it, it has to be ethically done right. Right now, it doesn't sound like it, but eventually someone will find a way. And when they do, I can't say I won't do or I won't do. There's a lot of things people may not know because of safer down spaces. If I know a certain dodgy person is going to be part of that festival, I reject making money. I reject going to a festival where someone has been accused of something, legally or not legally or whatever. I don't attend that event. So this case is pretty much the same thing. As long as I think that it's the business side of it is done right, if I don't think it will affect or impact the rest of the people, do you know what I mean? I can't say I won't eat this apple, but for now, it's a big no.
Thank you, Super Dixon. One more thing. In any of these classes, will you be accepting payment? In these classes this week? Any chance of accepting payments for dances?
All the time, bro.
Andrea.
Private classes is a thing. I keep telling the people, private classes is a thing. It's been always a thing. That's why it's outside of the spectrum when the students want private classes. And I remember in Plymouth, I used to wake up 9 o'clock in the morning to teach private classes till night. It's a big bulk of the business, but again, social dance, because what Andrea said earlier, it's a get too personal. It hits a bit too home, and that's why everybody gets a bit iffy with it. And I agree that they get iffy with it. But ultimately, if there's people willing to pay their money, it's tricky.
Okay, Andrea, in closing, yes or no?
Absolutely not. No. For me, no, I wouldn't pay to dance with a teacher, and I wouldn't ask people to pay to dance with me, because it just takes away the social aspect, the spontaneity, and it also takes out quite a large sum of people who maybe they can afford to come to a festival or a social event at a festival, but that's it. That's the limit of their funds. All their money is going into something else. So why should they be sidelined just because they haven't got the finances to do it? No, social is about, dancing should be about, encouraging everybody and encompassing everybody to take part on the, sorry, did you have to put that in the chat? But it is about taking everybody and letting anybody who wants to come to the dance. It's not dependent on people's finances. I'm so sorry, I laughed.
Okay, guys, this is it. It's a wrap. It's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us, every single viewer and listener. We really, really, really are happy that you joined us, and we're going to be back soon with another show and another hot topic. Things are going to get hotter. Thank you for our special guest, Rashida Forbes Costa, the Silver Fox. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you. See you
Dixon,
soon.
as always, great fun, good knowledge, and of course, Andrea.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Andrea, again for working hard to help make this a success. Join us next 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll have another subject for you. And God bless. Keep dancing.
Ciao.